I want to heal. I want to be the best I can be. I want to achieve the highest level of wellness I can achieve spiritually, emotionally, physically, environmentally. I strive for that. I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a role model. I want people to realize the body doesn't know disease by name. Hi, I'm Gail Lynn, and you are entering a world gone good.
Well, hello, my name is Steve, and this is the place where we celebrate everyday people making good happen each and every day. Welcome to World Gone Good. Have you heard our exciting news? We are going live. Yes, we are. Sunday, February 9th at 9:30, we will be recording our first ever live episode at Conscious Life Expo. You can be there to experience all the good as well as the conscious life shit that's going to happen. Simply visit consciouslifeexpo.com for all the info. It's going to be good shit, I tell you. Love to see you in person, love to make it happen, and a little nervous, a lot excited. First time ever we're doing this. Go to consciouslifeexpo.com for the full details on how you can be part of World Gone Good's first ever live episode. Okay, today we are starting this episode just like this. What you are about to hear is a conversation that involves homeopathic healing. I want to make this very clear. This is a disclaimer to say that if you are having a serious medical issue, this may not be the solution to your ailment and/or problem, and you should seek proper medical attention. I say this because my guest and I did not go to medical school. We are just two humans, just like you. We're not doctors. We are simply sharing our beliefs and experiences, just like you sometimes do when friends ask you about how you handle certain health things, right? So just want to make it clear, unless you're a doctor, then doesn't apply to you what I just said. You do what you need to do. But I am saying again, today's show is not a replacement for anything medical-wise that you may need to have done. And please, 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 if you break your leg, don't just go sit in a harmonic egg as your only method to fix it. Go to the ER and get that leg fixed. Oh, crap. Okay, I buried the lead. Didn't say spoiler alert before I told you about the harmonic egg. Damn it. It's all falling apart. We are doing so well. We were trying. All right, let's start over. All right, at the top of the show, you heard me talk about how we are going to be at the Conscious Life Expo, doing our first ever live podcast in front of an audience. Exciting. I thought it would be fun and good to meet some of the other folks also joining in on the Conscious Life Expo. Good times. Which brings us to today's guest, the creator of the Harmonic Egg. See, it all came full circle. I already told you about the Harmonic Egg. Her name is a very good name. It's Gail Lynn. And she is a very interesting, fascinating person who is an engineer, a film producer, a person who takes risks, both big and small, and someone who is open to life's lessons and what she can learn from them to move forward. So, who's ready to get their light and sound therapy on? Well, wait a minute. What is light and sound therapy? I can't exactly show you the light part. We will be discussing it, however, because this is an audio podcast, but I can give you a glimpse into the sound part. Close your eyes for a second, unless you're driving your car, and take a moment, take a breath, and listen to this. Okay, how did that just make you feel? Did you like how it made you feel? This is just one of the many elements Gail uses in the Harmonic Egg she's here to talk about. We're going to start with our own music we use to launch us into our very good conversation. And I think you know it well. Here it comes. This is Gail Lynn, here to share her good journey. I am talking right now with a fellow future Conscious Life Expo attendee / presenter / speaker / something or other. You're going to Conscious Life Expo in February with me, are you not?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, it'll be my first time. I'm so excited.
Yeah, my first time too. How did you get hooked up with Christine and get in on all this?
So I don't know if you know who Debbie Dachinger is, but she goes by Debbie Dashinger, but she's German, and I believe it said Debbie Dachinger. And she recommended me after we did a podcast together, and I guess she's got some clout there.
All right, wait a minute. Are you already cheating on me with other podcasts?
I've done well over 100 podcasts in my very short 54 years.
there's and I thought I was a podcast whore. Okay, sorry, that's all I got. That's great. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to get into all that. I want to start in a different place with you, and it's going to come back to what you do and why you'll be at the expo, which this whole thing is remarkable to me. I want to start here by telling you I went wine tasting with my friend Kathleen, who brought Christine, her friend, and I brought my husband. We all went wine tasting. We got into this whole conversation about the Conscious Life Expo, which she's running. And then we started talking because of a podcast. She said, we're going to have a podcast and we want you to come there and live podcast. So this sounds great. And I said, well, listen, send me a guest or two. And the first thing she said to me was, oh my God, I know exactly who to send you. There's a woman with an egg. That is what she said about you.
I love it.
This will make more sense to a lot of people. But I want to ask you a question because we were just talking before we started. What is your background? Are you an engineer? Are you a audio person? Are you an instrumentalist, a musician?
Well, you would think that I'm all those things, right? And I just came into this world with all these crazy ideas, but it started out in the Detroit area as an automotive kind of engineer, project manager. I did CAD drafting, yada, yada. And then I thought there's more to life than Henry Ford. So I moved to Dallas, Texas, and got into telecommunications. Whole different world. I went from the tangible world to an intangible world. And then that kind of ran its course. And I ended up in Hollywood dating Elvis Presley's stepbrother and doing a movie with him.
Stop the presses. Okay. Amazing life journey. Continue.
So I ended up living in California for a while, and we did this film. So it was a 16-year-old boy, goes to work for his world-famous stepbrother, protects him from everybody, but ultimately himself. And his stepbrother was Elvis Presley. So David Stanley was the guy that was the director and the guy I was dating. And his mom, Dee Stanley, married Vernon Presley after Gladys passed away, and David was 4 years old. And he says, I didn't know what a hound dog was. I didn't know what blue suede shoes were. But he found himself living at Graceland Mansion when he was 4 with Elvis as his big brother.
Insane. Insane and amazing.
Right? I ended up being the executive producer, helped him raise all the money and do the project management, which is basically producing. And we put this movie out there. But by the end of that time frame, that's a lot of intensity. Automotive to telecom to Hollywood. I was on the verge of an instant heart attack, nervous breakdown, migraine headaches. They wanted to do a hysterectomy on me, which I heard your 3-time guest that produced the movie documentary, The F Word.
Yes, Pashan.
Yeah, she's awesome, lovely, but I did not let them do a hysterectomy. Ended up having Epstein-Barr virus. And once I got the virus cleared, I didn't need the hysterectomy.
Wow.
Crazy, huh?
And so there was a very high level of stress in your life.
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 50.
When you go from having this fast-paced, nonstop, somewhat exciting, very intense life where your health is working for you. What was the moment or moments where you're like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling right in my body?
We were right at the end of the movie, and that was the post of the movie. The movie took 7 years. And the post, we were in editing and starting to do film festivals, and I was just burned out. And I thought, oh, I'm just getting old. I'm 37 years old. I'm saying, I'm just getting old. And
Yeah.
I know, right? I'd been plagued with migraine headaches for, I don't know, since I had them when I was 17. So at that point, it was about 20 years. And I just kept getting more and more exhausted and heavy, period bleeding and more headaches. And I had cystic acne. My hair was falling out. Doctors put me on thyroid medicine. And this is not the life I wanted to do. And I don't believe there are accidents. I believe everything's, happens for a reason. And I end up going to this conference where this guy starts talking about sound and light therapy in this box that looks like a coffin. And I was curious about it because what I saw, the testimonials that he presented, I was amazed. My engineering mind couldn't figure out how that could possibly work. And so I bullied my way to the stage to meet him after the conference was over and was talking to him about migraine headaches. And, he invited me to come and do some sessions in Arizona. So I flew there and immediately started feeling better. And I thought, okay, I've got to research this shit because there's something going on that I don't understand, but it works. I felt really balanced. I felt at peace. I felt less of a hot mess. I had less pain. Everything was just coming into balance. But then I realized that we're vibrational beings of light and sound from source energy, from God, whatever you believe in. So why the hell aren't we healing with sound and light?
It's so simple, isn't it? Let me ask you a couple questions about the coffin.
Yeah.
For lack of a... Okay, was it a full experience, meaning a full box, you're completely enclosed? Is your head sticking out of it? Is it body parts going in?
Yeah, your whole body's in this box and there's doors that close. This really gentle music starts playing, but you're staring up at like a rainbow colored light bulb and it's painted. You can clearly see it's painted. And there's this structure that's made out of mirrors. So you're looking at yourself and it's kind of just weird. And I thought, this is kind of cuckoo. And because I didn't believe in any of that stuff. And you feel a little bit of vibration underneath you. And it was just really relaxing. And I thought to myself, and I told all my friends, I was like, this can't possibly do anything. It's so crazy. So it's a full body experience.
Are you clothed? Are you in a towel? Are you naked?
Yeah, fully clothed. Now there's people that say, you can absorb light more easily if you are naked. But when you go to a center like that and for the practitioner is not a doctor or physician, they're just maybe somebody who retired accountant or a Reiki practitioner. I think there's liability issues. So you are fully clothed.
And you're laying down. You're on your back. You're not standing.
Correct.
Okay. I'm just making sure because look, I do cryotherapy and there's all different kinds of cryotherapy. There's the tube that your head is sticking out, right? And then there's the full room. I do not like the full room. The full room freaks me out, but I like the tube. And I have people who are the opposite. They're like, oh God, I can't get in that tube. I'm like, I love the tube. I feel like a Pez. You remember the Pez, the little Pez dispensers with the candies?
Of course.
That's what I feel like. Okay. So you have a positive experience from this and then your technical and mechanical brain is like trying to come to peace and understanding with it. Like what happened?
Yeah, I started telling my friends there's no way that this crazy light box did anything. And then I was riding my bicycle one day up a hill and I had asthma when I was 4 years old. I was diagnosed with asthma, but I still played softball for 30 years. I still had a really normal life, but I just would have to stop and breathe and catch my breath. And, it was just a thing. So I get to the top of the hill and I'm like, I can breathe. What the hell? Okay, that's one thing. And then I had a migraine that lasted about, instead of 15 hours, it was 10, and it wasn't as intense. And I kept saying to myself, well, maybe because it's summertime, maybe because I took a little trip to Arizona, maybe, because I couldn't find a logical explanation, that I laid in this weird box, listened to some music, looked at a rainbow colored, light bulb, and I'm seeing these amazing results. So then I went to the eye doctor. Now I started wearing glasses when I was 19, and I couldn't see out of the glasses anymore. And this is only after a couple sessions, Steve. This is crazy. And so I go to the eye doctor thinking my prescription needs to be enhanced and it needs to be stronger. And he's like, why are you wearing glasses? I said, because I've been wearing them since I was 19, jerk. Serious. And he said, you don't need them. You're 20/20 vision. I go, wait, what? That's really what happened. And so I stopped wearing glasses at that point, and I thought this had to be the light box.
And wait, hold on. We got to say to everybody listening right now, Gail, this is Gail Lynn's experience. This may not be your experience. So anyone who may not have that same experience, but yes, I'm on board for it. Don't want to, right? Because everyone's going to have a different experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because there are some people that I've had tens of thousands of people now in the Harmonic Egg, maybe hundreds of thousands now. And there's going to be that person every once in a while says nothing happened. Some people are identified with their disease. Some people, they're like, this is my disease and I own it and I am it.
Right.
It's never going to heal. So yeah, absolutely. That's a great disclaimer. I want to heal. I want to be the best I can be. I want to achieve the highest level of wellness I can achieve spiritually, emotionally, physically, environmentally. I strive for that. I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a role model. I want people to realize the body doesn't know disease by name. We freaking name everything. Let's not give it an address.
That's so interesting you say that, because I want to ask you this. Have you always felt that way, or did you make a shift? Again, here we are with the shifts.
I made a huge shift because, like I said, I was 37 years old and all these problems. And I was like, oh, I'm just getting old. This is what happens when you get old. So I made a major shift when I was able to release trauma at a cellular level using sound and light therapy.
So you then go on to say to yourself, how can I turn this into an egg? I'm kidding. How did you take the next steps to creating your own version of it?
Yeah, so I bought 2 of them from the inventor of this, and I opened up a center in 2010 in Denver and started seeing a lot of people, and people were saying, well, I'm claustrophobic, or I can't lay on my back for an hour because I'm a little bit heavy. And when I do that and I sit up, my back really hurts. And so I thought, a recliner. Okay, that would be comfortable, but it's not going to fit in this box. And then there was a foam pad, and they said the music sounds distorted. So I said, okay, how about speakers that don't have any distortion and they're not covered by a pad? And how about a different light system that I can change the colors? Maybe I don't want the rainbow color. Maybe I just want purple. Maybe I just want blue. And then I started looking at the music and saying, I don't want to use an MP3 file because they're cold and clinical. And I want to use the WAV file, the full expression of the music, and hire musicians and produce music and create this egg and sell them all over the world. No, that's not really how it happened. It's close. And but yeah, I made one egg, and that's a whole, 6-hour story. But then someone came in and says, can I buy these? And I said, I don't know. I don't even know what I would sell them for. So that's how the business part of it started. And I always knew that when I purchased this light box, I didn't like the business model. It was very patriarchal. It was very competitive. The center owners really didn't talk to each other. And I said, what if I created a business model of cooperation, and I had a private Facebook page, and all the center owners could support each other, and we were operating with cooperation and love and integrity, and we're supporting communities, and we're giving back, and we're helping people to heal, and we're listening to them, and we're just being the best part of the community. And family members are coming in, and it's just this beautiful community of egg guardians, and everyone benefits, and we create abundance for all. And that's what I created.
That's amazing that is the journey you took of like finding other people who felt the way you did and also people who were ready to take a chance on it and on themselves. Do you as an entrepreneur, well, listen, who am I asking this to? You made a movie. I I understand because I work in that industry. And especially this is the great thing about anybody listening is like I think it was the producer and she's a woman. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but she was the producer and she won the Academy Award for Forrest Gump. And one of the first things she said, and I believe it was 17 years, she worked on just getting somebody to believe in her project to get it to that point.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, it's tough.
That's really so much of the journey. Yeah, yeah.
Tough freaking industry. And that's why I thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown at the end of the 7 years making the movie Protecting the King with David. And I thought after I finished, I said, Steve, I'm never going to do this again. I'm glad I did it once, never doing it again. Guess what? I just put out a documentary on my own and funded it myself. So that took 9 months, because that's just who I am. I'm crazy. When I set my mind to do something, just get out of my way and I'll let you know when I'm done.
Yeah, but you get a skill set in everything you work on. And even if something is a complete and total fucking failure, disaster, and I've been there, trust me, you learned all the things not to do. You know what I mean? You learned all the things that didn't work for you. You learned all the things you don't want to, the people you don't want to work with. That's another one. It's like very, very interesting. Let me ask you a question about the eggs themselves. Why an egg?
I feel like that's where life comes from. And I like the sacred geometry of it. I like the golden ratio. So I thought, you know what? If I do the golden mean and I create an egg, then we have this beautiful expression of where life comes from. And some people need to rebirth. Sometimes they get down this path where they're so sick, they're so angry, they're in such a low vibration, and maybe they need to rebirth and start over. And so I thought this is a great place for a new beginning, like a Genesis. And so I thought the egg was the perfect place to heal. Or you can work from orb coming out of Boulder, right?
Okay, you and me, man. You just totally dated us. Mork from work. Oh, I love it. Nanu. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Now, the eggs themselves, because I'm looking at them on your website, some of them look like you can sit in a chair in them. Some of them look like you can lay down. And some of them, there's one that looks like you can stand up. Are they different models or are they capable of being all three?
Yeah. So the first version is the Harmonic Egg 1.0. And that was the original version. So I leave it on the website because that's what people recognize. But now we've kind of graduated to 2.0 with the more Narnia closet doors where you just open the doors. Takes up less space and it has raw wood in the inside. The previous version has some paint on the inside. So I tried to get away from that. The light capsule that you see is a light capsule that you can use for the home. And so that's basically my home unit.
So you have people who can come to get this experience in a location much like, I don't want to say a gym, but like a Pilates studio or a spa?
Sure.
Would you compare it to?
There's medical professionals that own eggs, medical doctors, chiropractors, naturopathic doctors, RNs, nurse practitioners, physician's assistants. But then there's also people who are massage therapists or retired accountants. Some people just want to serve and they have had a career, they're retired, and they just don't want to serve. So they purchase an egg and then they have people come to their location and they nurture them and they love on them and they help them set an intention and they put them in the egg and then they talk to them after. It's so beautiful. It's so much better than being a number and a dollar amount at the hospital or doctor's office where you get 5 minutes of the doctor's attention. They never really look in your eyes and they don't know what's going on with you emotionally. They don't talk to you. They don't know why your stomach might hurt because you're worried about your son or your partner. They don't think about, if you have a brain tumor, that you might just have an imbalance in the third eye chakra. They might see your condition as, something they can just give you a pill. And really, maybe it's a diet change. Maybe it's a nutrition depletion. So yeah, I love that we can spend some time with people. We can really nurture them and love on them and help them to be their best self inside the egg. And, we heal individually, and that's how we heal the world is we want to heal individually so that we can then influence someone else's healing and someone else and so on and so on. I'm not really a group healing type person. I feel like I want to heal myself so that I can love myself and nurture myself. And then I can spread that love to someone else and someone else and someone else. So I really love the individual healing. And there's some people that want to do group healing and they love that kumbaya and everything. I just really like to heal alone and then help others heal from a root level.
And healing can walk hand in hand. We just had Dr. Jay Winter on the show, and he spoke about, he's all about stress relief. He's all about mindfulness. He's all about intentions, and he's all about, the natural path, veganism, all the things, right? But he's also a guy who's like, sometimes you do need a pill to help you. They can walk hand in hand. And I think about my dad. My dad had stage 4 lung cancer. He was terminal, and he was, really spiraling. And somehow we convinced him to let this chiropractor that he trusted very much come to the house and give him acupuncture. And I live, breathe acupuncture. I love it. And so my dad gets his acupuncture a couple times, and I was visiting. Session is done. My dad just comes in the room. His face is like pink, red, golden. He's got a big smile on his face. He's not holding on to anything to keep him propped up. And he just puts his hands on his hips and he goes, I don't know why we're doing this. What a waste of money. This acupuncture thing is not even. And we all start laughing. I go, Dad, please go look at yourself. Have you looked in a mirror? And he's like, why I got to look in a mirror? I go look. Just do me a favor. What do you want me to do? He walks in the bathroom, looks in the mirror, comes out, goes, what was I supposed to look at? I go, you are rosy cheeked. Your blood is flowing. You're literally glowing, and you're not holding onto the counter to keep yourself up. So yes, humor us, because it is something. There's something there.
I love these modalities that are all out there and the ancient ones like acupuncture and homeopathy. And these are really ancient things. And so that's so funny though. My dad passed away from a diagnosis of COPD, but I can tell you, he worked in an asbestos plant for 30 years. We lived in an asbestos home. He died of mesothelioma, but they wouldn't diagnose him. So he suffered with inhalers and pain pills and antidepressants for years and being on morphine and hospice care. And then he ended up just dying. But he wouldn't try. At least your dad tried. My dad said, if the doctor says this is what I got to do, this is what I got to do. Ended up being what I consider a medical error death. And, he passed away and he wouldn't try these things. But I think that's so great that your dad tried it, even though he didn't notice anything different, which is so funny.
Oh, he did. He was so stubborn. He was so funny. We got him. It was, this is 2014, 2015, 2016 years, right? So we still had to get him. My mom got a medical, marijuana license card, right? And she would go get him the honey, the pot honey or the marijuana honey, the CBD stuff. And he was so funny because we'd be like, Dad, you're supposed to take like 10 drips of the honey under your tongue. And my dad would just like touch it to his mouth and go, it doesn't work. And we just started laughing so hard at him. Now, my dad also, my father worked in the pharmaceutical industry his entire life. So, of course, he wanted a pill. And that's totally understandable. And anyone listening right now, this is a therapy like any other. It's a choice. And it's much like saying, if you have health issues, whatever they may be, it is important to, of course, check with your doctor if things are serious, but at the same time, it would not hurt any of us to walk a little more or go to the gym or eat a little better or drink a little less or smoke a little less. And to also be open to understanding that what you said is we're energy and energy feeds on energy.
Right. No, it's so true. And, if my blood pressure was 200 over 100, I'm going to get a high blood pressure pill until I figure out what the hell is going on. And there's a doctor, they call him Dr. Batman, because his last name has like 300 letters to it, but he wrote a book, You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. And I find that a lot of high blood pressure can just be dehydration. And, there's a lot of people that don't drink enough water. We're mostly water. And some people do drink a lot of water and their cells aren't healthy enough to hold the water. So even though they're drinking a lot of water, they're not hydrated.
It is very interesting. My father died of cancer. I don't know that I would go down the road that my father went down, because I am under the belief system that I probably would go to Europe and look into some of the more, the different ways, of treatment, as opposed to going right to chemo and radiation. But I don't fault anybody who goes that way either. And I don't fault my father, and my father, like I said, pharmaceutical industry, medical industry, he believed in it. Great. And that's understandable. But it is that kind of thing too, is like, look, I got 3 senior dogs in the other room, and Mason is the back half of him. He's a big lab, is atrophying. It's much thinner, right, than the front half. I got him approved through the pet insurance. He goes and walks on a treadmill in a water tank for 25 minutes. It's the cutest thing you've ever seen. The first time he did it, he didn't quite understand it, but he loves water. Now it's hilarious. I bring him in and he can't get on that treadmill fast enough. He turns himself around and it's loud. Like they turn it on and all the water starts coming in and he's just standing there and then he just starts trotting. And I'm like, oh my God, he's at the gym. He's me. This is awesome. Let's talk about I keep doing this. I keep calling it Conscious Life Expo. What are you doing there? What are you going to be doing there? Are you a vendor? Are you a presenter? What's happening?
I'm doing it all, Steve. I'm doing it all. I got a booth. Hey, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it right. I got a booth. I'm going to be on a sound and light panel on, I guess, Friday. And then I have a lecture and I have a workshop. I'm going to talk about sound and light therapy. And I'm going to also talk about when you have a disease, it could be a missing tone. So you could be missing C sharp from your voice or G. And I want to kind of educate people to start looking at humming more and replenishing the tones in their voice that could really help eliminate some emotional and physical ailments that they have.
Excellent. Okay.
Excellent.
So we close these shows.
Say it right, Steve.
Excellent. The puns never end. We close these shows with 3 questions. Don't worry, you know the answers. Question number 1 is, where can people find you? Where can people get more information about you? Follow you on the socials. Plug away.
HarmonicEgg.com is the website. You can find all the locations and links to my book, consciously created music, all those goodies. And It's Time.love is my new documentary.
The final 2 questions can go back to anything we've already talked about, anything you want to say. Question number 1 is this: who inspires you?
Wow. That is a question that it'd be a long answer, but I think people that inspire me are people that from the past, people like Wayne Dyer, people like Edgar Cayce, Royal Rife, Wilhelm Reich, people who were pioneers and rebels, people who created things, even though Wilhelm Reich's books were destroyed. I love it that they thought his work was so threatening that they had to destroy his books. But the information's in the universe. It's all easily accessible when you can meditate and grab it. So yeah, they destroyed his books, but the energy is already out there. So jokes on them. So rebels and people who have done things that people said were impossible to do.
And the final question is not a question. It is simply a statement to finish any way you like. It goes like this: tell me something good.
Oh, I love this question. I think people are good. I think we're coming into a place where we're going to see more goodness, more kindness, more love, more connectedness, more realizing we're all one. So I want to hold that space for everyone to feel it, see it, touch it, that the world is good, that we're going to experience more good, and there's going to be goodness in abundance for everyone.
Thank you, Gail, for sharing your good. I can't wait to meet you face-to-face at the Conscious Life Expo next month. Next time on World Gone Good.
How are you? I'm so happy to hear your voice, and I'm happy that you are still here.
The odds of being a human being is 400 trillion to 1, and you had the gift of waking up today, and most people take that for granted, but I'm here in the world to remind people that that is something to be celebrated and acknowledged every single day.
And I also learned the value of people sharing their stories. We've all been through something, and we really should share that with others. And I think it gives people hope. It makes people feel connected. And I just encourage people to do that more, because we're all capable of doing that.
Well, what can I say other than holy fucking shit, y'all. We are about to hit our 200th episode. It's here. How is this even possible? I don't know, but it's going to be a party with some of my favorite people, and that includes you. And it includes some good guests returning, like our number one most listened to episode guest, Julie McGuire, and the Black Fairy Godmother herself, Simone Gordon. We're going to also keep it new and fresh with the incredible artist and reinventor of all things thrown to the curb, Ike Winter, and maybe even a surprise or two more. Who's ready to celebrate our 200th episode? I am. You are. Can't wait for you to hear it. Until then, be good.